What's up, Banter fam? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Miles, and today we are going to discuss the AI narrative and the AI trades heading into a big Apple announcement in the next week. It's going to be a massive show. We're going to run through the major AI coins that I'm watching off the back of this announcement, some of the beneficiaries, and I'm also going to give you a market update because over the last 2 weeks, it's been crazy. We're in Miami, we were in New York, then I went to Monaco for the F1. It was a really fun couple of weeks, but subsequently, I haven't actually live streamed and given you a proper market update in about a week because I was doing videos, but not in this live streaming format. I just want to say that I'm back. I'm locking in for the month of June, and I have some really exciting content to share with you throughout this month. I want to make it my mission to provide you guys with like the best alpha on the channel, and I'm working super hard to create new forms of content. A lot of edited content is now going to start coming out. So I might be doing less live streams, but more alpha packed, shorter shows that will give you insight into some of my trading strategies that I have been researching. So lots and lots and lots of content to come from my side on my Twitter and on this YouTube channel as well. And I'm really excited for that to get back in, lock back into research mode. I'm pretty much in my element at my happiest when I'm in research mode, when I'm locking in and focusing. So anyone that needed a bit of motivation for the month of June, come join me on this journey. Eat healthy, exercise, focus on your mind, focus on your body, and let's smash the market in a period where a lot of people are getting disinterested. The numbers are way down. The interest is way down. I'm going to show you some of the stats to kind of contextualize that a little bit. But basically, the general interest is down, liquidity is down. But this is actually the time to set yourself up, because this is the period where you can create an edge over others. Now, patience in and of itself is an edge in crypto. If you're patient and you research when everyone else is bored, by the time everyone else comes back into the market, you will have information asymmetry. You'll have an edge over the rest of the pack because you've researched and you've done the work. You've put in that effort during the period where everyone else was gone. By the time they come back in, you'll be 10x more up to date with the developments in crypto. You'll be 10x more up to date with the trends that are happening. A lot of trends right now, for example, AI trend super strong. LSD trend is starting to develop. We're going to talk about all that stuff today and over the next couple of weeks. But there are really concrete trends and shifts that are happening in the crypto market that if you pay attention to right now, you can set yourself up quite well for the next bull run. And to be honest, you don't even need like a crazy bull run to make profits in this market. We've seen this year has provided us with enough narratives to make money. Obviously not significant capital that comes with, more generous market conditions. But when those conditions come, if you put in the work now, you'll set yourself up quite well. Without rambling, let's go back to the market and actually have a look at what is happening from a Bitcoin perspective and also from a crypto perspective. Someone said, give us your millions to trade. It's okay. I'm pretty confident I can help you make millions through some of the strategies and information I'm going to provide over the shows over the next few months at least. I hope so. That's the goal, to make this the most profitable community in crypto. Someone says, Muse says, whoop, whoop. You're excited for the content. Happy to hear that, bro. Let's get straight into it. So Bitcoin basically has been following the trend that, I continue to talk about on the show. And this is this downward sloping channel. We had our highs, then we had our lower highs. Deviation above twice. Well, actually, you could count this as the first deviation above horizontal structure at 30.5. Then second deviation, third deviation. So basically the trend that's currently playing out right now is rejections of this diagonal trend. Deviations above, we typically see this because lots of shorters tend to pile up around key levels of resistance, which results in squeezes to the upside. We typically see this about around big resistance levels. Then we did see this roll over back underneath the trend. We had a daily candle close on the resistance, which took us back down to horizontal support at 26.5. So what you need to know is that it's important for us to hold this orange level at 26.5, start to break below, and we are targeting 24K. The head and shoulders pattern that had a 24K target didn't play out as a head and shoulders. In fact, I would say this is invalidated, but what I would now pay attention to isn't the head and shoulders wave pattern. It's actually the baseline. So the neckline of the head and shoulders, which we have actually now rejected off again for a second time. That's the critical thing that I'm now watching. So you could see here your initial rejection off the neckline, which acted as resistance. We came back down to our horizontal support at 26.4. That's the same key support that I showed you on my last chart. Then we actually had to push back up into the neckline again before we're pushing back down. So we're kind of range bound at the moment between the 26.4 level and the 28K level for the past month and a half, basically, we've been kind of ranging in this range. I expect that to continue. I think there's decent long opportunities at 26.4. If you set your stop below, we see, we have had a few wicks, so you want to be generous and use low leverage with that. But I think there are long opportunities from the bottom of this range. And then I think at the top of this range, there are short opportunities, which I've covered many times on the show. And if you have been following those opportunities, you would have made decent money. Firstly, with the short of 30K, which we basically hit the nail on the head with that short. And then secondly, with this next play here, once we deviated below, I wouldn't have suggested opening it when we're breaking above, but on the breakdown back down below, you could have taken that trade as well for some decent profit on alts, maybe like 20 to 30% trades on alts. Pretty good, not crazy if you were trading Bitcoin though, because it's only a 2.5% candle there. So that's basically what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. Probably going to go a little bit lower. I mean, I'm saying probably because this is based on probabilities, what my charts are telling me, but still watching that support at 26.4 quite significantly. I might take a scalp long there, but if we start breaking down below, then I'm happy to flip short with the 24K target. It's looking like a tough market at the moment. It's not looking like the long opportunities are super prevalent. There are some narrative, which I think can still have to perform, and there may be money-making opportunities there, which we'll discuss in a second. But in terms of the general market, Bitcoin, ETH, I think probability is still to the downside. I'm sticking by my guns. What I've been saying for the last 3 months, ever since we rejected from 30, is that probability is to the downside. When you start making lower highs like this, what you need to see is reclamations of those highs to start to form an uptrend. Right now, we are in a downtrend, and you don't really want to fight the trend in crypto. But in saying that, I might actually take, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I might actually take a scalp long just based on like a support bounce here. I think that could be a decent trade, but just remember, like, that's a trade. That's not necessarily a reversal of trend. Reversal of trend only happens once we start to break back above, I would say, the 28K zone, which would be your third lower high, reclaiming in to support. So that is what I'm watching there. Bitcoin dominance, let's give a quick update here. Basically has broken down to the downside. That's actually good for alts. It shows that Bitcoin has started to kind of weaken versus altcoins. Well, look, I would much prefer to see Bitcoin dominance dropping in the face of an altcoin rally to the upside. That is what I would much rather see. But it's still not a bad thing that we have dominance breaking down for altcoins, because it shows that even on dips, alts are still holding up okay. I think this is largely due to the fact that dominance has run so much that it's just running out of steam. Like, people, it just doesn't have the firepower yet to break past this 48% zone. Bitcoin's had such a good run. Alts have had such a terrible run. Alt pairs look horrible on their Bitcoin pairs that they're kind of reaching these support levels. Now, look, if we do start to break above 48%, confirm above, then Bitcoin dominance can run a lot higher. And I actually do think the probability of that happening in the near future is high, but it's not a trade that I will bet on until we break the 48% zone, because unless we invalidate this range that we've been in since May 2021, I'm not taking any substantial alt Bitcoin pair trades until we confirm either side. That would be to the downside at 39 or to the upside at 48. Until then, I think we are largely rage bound, and we can look at our lower time frames like the 1 hour and 4 hour to pick off momentum trades with altcoins. And right now, with dominance breaking down, if this does reject again off this horizontal blue line as well as this red line, if Bitcoin starts to catch a bid and the general crypto market starts to catch a bid, that could be good for alts, because then we could see a pattern where Bitcoin actually increases with alts increasing faster than Bitcoin with dominance slowing down. So that is one scenario that, look, I don't know if it will happen, but I'm hopeful that it will happen. And if it does, that would be good for altcoins, but that would be a short-term trade, and that definitely isn't a long-term trend yet until we see a substantial move down from dominance to the downside alongside altcoin strength. So that is something to note. The other thing I would just want to touch on quickly before we get into some of this AI stuff that I want to discuss today is just like the general environment in crypto. Very dry liquidity. Some of the lowest liquidity months we've had for the past 2 years have been the last 2 months. In fact, last month was one of the lowest trade volume months in a long, long time. But what's very interesting, an interesting discrepancy that I'm starting to note, is that although trading volume is significantly down in terms of the aggregate crypto volume, the net percentage volume for DEX trading versus centralized trading has been increasing. So we actually can see here, and this is great for the DeFi trend in general, that DeFi users have actually reached 2021 highs almost. I mean, not quite. Like, we hit the 1 million mark at the start of the year in January. Then we hit the 1 million mark almost again during Phantom January in 2022. But since then, this is our highest month ever for DeFi usage. So a lot of users now switching to DeFi, and I think you can put it down to one thing: the fact that centralized exchanges are really starting to clamp up. We're seeing centralized exchanges with their KYC policies get much stricter. Trading in the US is essentially non-existent, very difficult to execute. Even as an Australian, I've seen my Binance on and off ramp shut off. A lot of exchanges now really starting to, I guess, get worried. And as a result, a lot of people are now moving to non-KYC options on decentralized exchanges. And we can see this because the DEX to centralized spot volume is now 21.45%. This is the highest it's ever been. Usually centralized exchanges dominate the market. DEXs are starting to dominate. This is not a trend I expect to go away anytime soon. I actually think we can push up. It's a bold call, but I think we can push up to the 40 to 50% mark over the next year. That might sound crazy, but in my opinion, the trend is very clear. Centralized exchanges are being clamped down on. Decentralized exchanges now have a market, a stronger market need. Before, the market need for decentralized exchanges was, okay, let's use DEXs because I can get a little bit more privacy. I can get, maybe a little bit more flexibility. Maybe I already have funds on chain and I need to trade on a DEX, but you didn't really have that huge value add, which is like the necessity to trade on a DEX because you had great centralized options. But what's happened over the last year is that DEXs have been developing. They're getting better. We're seeing Oracle products increase their efficiency and lower their fees. We're seeing order books like Apex starting to launch and ship a lot more trading pairs. So now you can use an Apex against a DYDX, etc., a GMX, and you have access to a pretty decent trading experience. Now, maybe it's not quite as good as a 𝗍𝗶𝗆𝗏 or an OKX, but it's getting better. And for that reason, the development of these DEXs lining up with the regulatory clampdown, it's leading to a shift. So definitely start to look into the best on-chain protocols, not only from an investment perspective, but also from a trading perspective, because I think the door is opening up here for decent investments in this space. I'm a big advocate of a lot of these protocols. I'll list off a few off the top of my head, not financial advice, of course, do your own research, but, Gains Network I like, Apex I like as platforms, DYDX I like, GMX I like, their Level Finance I like. There are a few very good Quenta I really like. There are a few great platforms, and these are starting to constitute heavier percentages in my portfolio. Obviously, investing and the platforms are separate things. Do your own research when it comes to what tokens are the best versus what platforms are the best. But I am significantly investing a lot of my time into these things. And actually tonight on my Twitter, I am writing a thread on some developments I'm seeing in the DeFi market relating to liquid staking, which goes hand in hand with some of the trading stuff right now. So the two biggest narratives in DeFi, I think right now, is the DEX plays and the liquid staking plays. If you are interested in the DeFi market, those two things are where you should be putting a lot of your time. That is where I would be focusing my time and energy. There is a big shift happening at the moment that it's in the data. I'm not just saying it for the sake of saying it. I'm not saying it for the sake of, because it's good for my brand, because I'm a DeFi guy. No, I'm saying it because it's the data. It's what is happening. And of course, if you do want to trade on Apex, there's a link in the description to use what I believe is one of the best order books. Doesn't maybe have the pairs like a GNS has. So if you want more flexibility, you can kind of use both. But what it does have is the order book structure, which allows it to have organic price discovery on chain, as well as offer very fast execution through StarkX, which is the rollup that it uses. And you also have trade to earn. So I did a video on this on the channel. It's on the Miles Show playlist. If you want to learn more about that specifically, I'm not going to talk about it too much today because I already did that. But if you want to know a bit more about Apex specifically, there's a video in my playlist on the Banter homepage on YouTube that you can check out. And yeah, you can check that out and research more. There's a link in the description if you want to trade there. But we also have other options as well, like Gains Network. If you want access to different pairs, a bit of Forex stuff, some commodity stuff, the options are there as well. Let's talk about Bitcoin quickly, just to touch on the month of May, Q2 now coming to a close, Q3 now starting to begin. Quarter two, minus 5.12%, not horrible so far, not horrible. I mean, obviously it wasn't great for a lot of altcoins, but from a Bitcoin perspective, selling may go away. Okay, it was profitable in the end. The old anecdote ended up, being true, but by and large, 5% wasn't a terrible month for Bitcoin. It did stagnate around the 30K level. It obviously has dropped, downtrend now starting to form. But in terms of the overall quarterly returns for Q2, it hasn't been horrible. Bitcoin monthly returns for May have started to, for June, have started in the red at 0.88%. So I guess the May adage has been true, -7, but it wasn't like the other years. 2021, 35%, 2022, -15.6%, this year, 7%. So I think the volatility in general this year has been much less. Probably not good if you're a trader, probably not bad if you're just averaging into the market. Depends on your strategy, of course. In previous years, like even last year, we saw big swings. Obviously, primarily to the downside, but we had multiple months over the, in the teens, the 10% plus mark. This year, we've only had 2 so far, 39% in January, 22 in March. Last year, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of the 12 months of the year actually come in at double-digit volatility. Most of them to the downside, but nonetheless volatility. This month, apart from January and March, which were significant green months, resulting in a sweep off the lows from the 16 up to the 30K level, we've had 4 really kind of quiet months so far. Maybe June ramps up. I think the fact that liquidity has compressed, trading volumes compressed, liquidity's gone down, tends to lead to explosive moves. So I am expecting very soon an explosive move to come. I don't know what way that's going to be. I can't predict the future. I can tell you right now, the probabilities, just given the fact it's a downtrend, it's telling me it's to the downside, but don't trade based solely on that thesis. We don't know. We don't know which way the move is coming, but it is coming. Once again, you can look at probabilities and probably say, okay, it's probably to the downside, but it could also easily be to the upside. My job as a trader, as an investor, isn't to predict the future with my special crystal ball. It's simply to look at probabilities, trade based on the charts, basically. If we're in a downtrend, I'll generally short more than I long. If we're in an uptrend, I'll generally long more than I short. And there's lots of scenarios which are if this then scenarios, which basically means if we reject off here, then I trade like this. If we break above here, then I trade like this. So it's not necessarily trying to predict and preempt trends. It's waiting for trends to develop and trading based on those trends. I'm sure you guys are all over that mindset now, but I just want to reiterate it because some people say, Miles, you're not predicting which way the market's going to move. It's well, no one really can. All you can look at is the data in front of you, make an educated guess, try and get an edge. Crypto is just all about finding your edge, whether that be on-chain trading, whether that be off-chain trading on leverage, whether that be DCAing and holding. Patience is also an edge, as I discussed at the start of the show. There are lots of edges for you in crypto. Consuming content such as this video is one way to start to develop an edge through leveraging other people's research. So I think consuming content, not just us, there are many other amazing channels. I'm really liking Elio's content at the moment. Benjamin Cowan's being great. I want to give a shout out to some of the other channels that are also doing an amazing job. I believe we also do an amazing job, or at least we try to. Consuming quality content is so important in this market, because basically, if a creator spends 10 hours researching a topic, you watch a 20-minute video, you're essentially condensing 10 hours of research into 20 minutes if you pay attention. Potentially sometimes years of experience, like someone like Ran that's been in the market for years and years and has decades of business experience. You're almost in a way getting decades of knowledge in a small video. So I find that pretty cool. And I think there's certainly a content arbitrage now, especially when the market's quiet, to really dig deep and research, whilst a lot of people are out of the market and are eventually going to FOMO back into the market. That's just how it works in crypto. And whatever I say today, just remember that long-term, I am very bullish on this space. There are obviously a lot of headwinds, but just because I say, oh, the charts look like they're going to go down, that doesn't change my thesis that long-term, we potentially see a 6-figure valued Bitcoin, a 5-figure valued ETH, and not just in dollar terms, just the space in general, is in my opinion going to thrive. We need decentralization. I'm such a huge advocate behind it. When I first got into crypto, I was kind of just getting in for the money. Now that I've stayed in this industry for a few years, I just see the need so clearly, especially with CBDCs starting to pilot and roll out across the world. The absolute need for immutable smart contracts, hard money, transferable, self-custodial currency. It's so important. It's literally so important. Unfortunately, we just have to deal with the ups and the downs and the rugs and all this stuff in the meantime. But hopefully the technology ends up prevailing, which I believe it will, and we start to get a lot of regulatory clarity. I think the shift to Asia has been very positive. America is, in my opinion, making a mistake, but whatever they do with their sanctioning is just going to end up resulting in other countries benefiting. Like Dubai has big long-term plans for crypto, Singapore as well. Even Australia, they have made some questionable moves, but in general, token mapping actually may end up working. And let's just see what the regulatory bodies here end up doing. But even Australia seems more open to it than the US. At least there are some like big advocates for it. The UK, some exciting things happening there. So it's not like the whole world is anti-crypto. It's really just like certain nations all trying to figure out what they want to do. But at the end of the day, like if they believe that there is an opportunity to capitalize from one country, aka the US, issuing sanctions, then I think they're going to take that opportunity. And that's a bullish thing for the space in general. So I'm not bearish regs. I'm just kind of, I'm bearish like mid to long term in certain countries. I'm like bullish though, overall that we can figure it out. Like we have every single year. Basically, like since crypto begun, there's been issues, and every time with Triumph, I don't expect that to be any different this time. It's just the game is changing with what I think has been like a very expedited CBDC progress, and obviously, you know, the pandemic, which created an insane monetary environment of money printing. It definitely changed the dynamic, put a big spotlight on crypto, resulted in a lot of rugs, and now we're kind of dealing with the FTX fallout. But anyway, I digress on that. Let's get into the conversation relating to AI, the thumbnail of this video, the title of this video. I just want to quickly say, I've been like doing a lot of research in the AI space recently. I've been basically like spending a lot of my time on like ChatGPT, Bard, starting to use AI tools, starting to use some of the new tools that are launching. I know Kyber AI has a product that's coming, starting to test betas and stuff. I've been really like digging into this world, and it's super interesting. And over the next few weeks, I'm planning on starting to introduce some AI-based content, not full AI-based, but AI-based crypto content that can help you actually become a better investor using AI. So look, the reason I haven't released any of it yet is because I want to make sure like I'm 100% well-researched, 100% know what I'm talking about, 100% have the strategies that work for you. When I have those strategies, I'm going to start making content and share it with you. So just know that behind the scenes, I've been working really hard on the research front to learn a lot more about the synergies between AI and crypto, because I believe there aren't many content creators that are doing it. I think a lot of content creators are covering AI news, but they don't really understand how to use it to become a better trader. For me at the moment, my focus is working out how to use that tech to become a better trader, because it's all well and good to just kind of use ChatGPT here and there, use it to like become more productive, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of actually helping you make money, there are huge opportunities there that I think a lot of people are forgetting. So I don't just want to be one of those creators that just makes AI threads. If I do it, they're going to be good, and they're going to be well researched, and they're actually going to work in terms of helping people make money, and obviously myself make money. So found a few cool things, but definitely over the next few weeks, going to start introducing more. If you are interested in that type of content and would like to see how you can use AI to make more money in crypto, become a better investor, let me know in the comments below. Is that the type of thing you want to see? I'll let you guys kind of dictate demand here. If you really want to see that kind of content, I'll share some of my research that I've been working hard on with you when the time is right. So just let me know if that's something you want to see alongside the normal crypto stuff. Someone said you want to focus on 20xing your portfolio. Definitely possible. I actually think with AI, there's opportunities that arise to create more efficient portfolio structures. And I think there's like a huge benefit there that can maybe help getting to that 20x goal you have. The other way to get to the 20x goal you have, as well as like utilizing new tech, which is super important in my opinion, is also just being patient, staying in the market, looking for the new trends, and just being like up to date with everything. Someone said they love it. You guys seem like you want it. You'd love to see how to use it. Okay, let's do that. I've already kind of done a bit of that content in the past, but definitely going to. I mean, I've been digging deep in private. It's just about actually documenting it now and releasing it to you guys when I feel I don't want to rush it. I only want to do it when I'm 100% sure that it will provide you guys value. I think I'm getting there on my own. But yeah, I want to make sure this content actually helps. No fluff, no bullshit, no facades. I want it to be real shit that works and helps. That's my goal. No more crap. Alpha per minute high. That's my goal with crypto content. I'm done with the fluff. Admittedly, in the past, some of my content has had a lot of fluff. I believe it's been pretty alpha packed, but it could be a lot better. I'm 100% aware of that, and it's going to get better. That's my pledge to you. Whatever content I end up making, it will be better, and I want it to be the best on the channel. I'm competitive. I want to have the best content on the channel. I'll just be honest. I want to have the most well-researched content, the most alpha-packed, the most highly produced, the best. And I think that's going to benefit you guys as well. You guys seem to like that idea. Someone said, Mars, you're talking at 10x. I am talking at 10x because I'm very jet lagged. I just got back from, I love how I said no fluff, and now I'm like explaining my life story, but this is a live stream. We'll have fun here today. We'll save the super condensed shows for later, although I want to keep this under 40 minutes. Someone said, yeah, talking at 10x. Basically, I got back from Europe, Monaco, like yesterday, had all these flight delays. It was an absolute nightmare, but finally got home like 30 hours later. It took so long. And basically, like, I keep waking up at like 4 a.m. because of jet lag. So it's 9 now, or actually it's 10 now. So I've been up for like, 6 hours. So I'm like absolutely rocked off my face with caffeine to try and stay awake. And when I have coffee and Miles kind of don't work. It just makes me super hyper, like crazy, but it actually improves my cognitive like output. So I'm not sure if it's a good or a bad thing, but I don't know. I'm certainly like more switched on. I feel like I'm smarter. I feel like I can work quicker, but it results in me going a little bit crazy because I already have like ADHD. So adding caffeine to that is kind of like a weird mix. So if I'm speaking at 10x, I think that's why I had like a coffee and then a matcha and then a protein shake. Didn't really have much coffee in it, but anyway. Someone said you're fine. I think I'm fine. I like speaking fast. Someone said your quality already blows me away. Appreciate it, Paul. Actually, I want to say a thank you to everyone that was in Miami that came up to me and thanked me and said things like this to me. I super appreciate it. It made me realize just how big the Banter fam is. Actually meeting you guys in person, it was amazing. It made me feel like, we're actually a family. And sometimes I feel a bit disconnected because I'm just behind a screen, like talking to you. But to know that you guys are actually sitting behind the computers, loving the content, supporting the content, believe in the content, that was a real big eye-opener to me that I just need to improve. I need to make better content because we have the audience. Now it's about delivering. And I'm sick of half delivering. I'm sick of rushing content. I just want to put out quality, well-researched quality, and I want you guys to really get a benefit out of it. Obviously, hopefully monetarily, but also enjoyment-wise. That is like my goal. And meeting you guys in person made that goal so much more clear. Someone said cocaine. No cocaine, unfortunately. That would be a horrible way to start the morning. Horrible way to start the morning. Maybe it's a good way to end the night, but starting at 10 a.m. with a line of coke, probably not the smartest thing. All right, let's get into the AI thing now. I've kind of rambled enough, but I thought it was important to kind of just state how I'm feeling in terms of content and say that there's some exciting stuff coming. And probably, if you're not following me on Twitter, I think you kind of have to. I think you already are, most of you. But if you're not, a lot of this stuff is going to drop on my Twitter. Big threads, amazing threads. An LSD thread is coming tonight. AI threads are going to start dropping. I've got a new airdrop update dropping this week. A lot of cool stuff. Not this week, actually, next week, because it's Friday now, but a lot of cool stuff dropping on my Twitter. So if you're not following, I think it's going to be honestly the biggest alpha Twitter on crypto Twitter. It will have the most alpha on crypto Twitter. I'm not just saying that. I'm being serious. It's a must follow Twitter. But I assume most of you are already following, but it's going to be good. The content is going to be good. We're doubling down in June. I'm kind of sick of, I don't know. I just went away for 2 weeks. I'm kind of sick of wasting time. It's time to lock in. It's time to research. It's time to focus. So what's this Apple thing? They have a developer conference in 3 days. It's on Monday. It's basically their new WWDC 23, where they're set to unveil a lot of the stuff they've been working on from a development perspective. So it's not a keynote where they announce hardware, but it is a developer conference where they essentially like talk about what they've been working on. Now, one of the major synergies and topics that we're going to start seeing in this developer conference, in my opinion, is probably AI. Someone just said Render has so many partnerships. They factor into this. Actually, a couple crypto-related projects factor into this, but we are going to see very cool developments being unveiled, in my opinion. Now, look, this is a trade that a lot of people have been taking in the lead up to it. It could be buy the rumor, sell the news. What I'm more interested in is not necessarily the short-term trade, but more the long-term implications of these synergies. Now, we know there's a strong synergy between Render and Apple because 𝗕𝗆𝗄𝗃, the CEO or founder of Render, said, "We've been working with Apple engineers for around a decade to bring Octane X, one of their products, to Apple silicon hardware." So you know how they have like the M2, soon the M3 chips for the MacBook Pros, the iPads, etc. They want to introduce that tech for the Apple specific chips, which are powering all devices. That work has been featured in multiple Apple keynote events in the last few years, including last week's M2 Pro launch. But there's something interesting happening. Apple is set to, I think, announce a headset soon. Apple's getting into the AI space. They're getting into the Metaverse space. They're introducing AI products, presumably, over the next couple of years. Apple aren't stupid. They're seeing what Google's doing. They're seeing what Microsoft is doing. They've got the biggest pockets in the world as the biggest company in the world. They can afford to blow everyone out of the water if they want to, and I think they will. I'm a big believer in Apple. I love Apple. Not financial advice at all, but I hold Apple stock for full disclosure. And it's actually the biggest holding of my life, meaning like I own more Apple than I own Bitcoin. It's just a trade that ran away from me. It's not by design, but I bought it in 2019 during a lot of the China FUD, and then it like 4 or 5x, and it just kind of grew into this big bag. But I'm happy to keep it and hold it long term because I'm a big Apple fanboy. I have like every product. Huge Apple fan, Apple bull. So take it with a grain of salt. But I think some of the synergies here between Apple and crypto projects is pretty exciting. One of which is Render. Apple seemed to be willing to be open to new ideas to explore this metaverse play. And they also seem to be open to the idea of introducing something like Render, which can offer decentralized GPU power to help power some of their AI/metaverse plays. It's a pretty exciting synergy. And Render, as a result, is performing very well. One of the strongest performers in the market. Now, I wouldn't say this AI developer conference is a reason to FOMO into Render. I certainly wouldn't FOMO in just based on the fact that Apple has a conference. You have to be aware of the fact that some of these events are by the rumor, sell the news. But nonetheless, I would still be pretty interested in monitoring the Render play and some of the other plays, which I'll get into in a second, in what is like a pretty transformative period for AI and crypto. Now, Render isn't AI. Technically, it's GPU power, but AI needs GPU power. I mean, what is AI? Where does AI operate? Well, it doesn't operate in the physical realm. It operates in the digital realm. So if you want to have successful AI products, you need hardware. And you need hardware that is able to house the storage and the power necessary to power those products. The reason why NVIDIA, the stock, has been running so much over the past few weeks and has blown basically everything in the stock market away is because they provide the physical hardware solution to solving this issue of GPU shortage. They build chips, they sell those chips. Those chips, the demand for those chips increases presumably as AI is developing at a faster pace. And they are the gap in the market, essentially. As well, there's a few. There's Intel and other competitors, but they're the ones that have the best chips and projected to sell the most off the back of this AI wave, and they're also working on their own AI products. But Render is your decentralized alternative to something like NVIDIA. Now, different business model, different thing. But if we look in crypto and we try to find the cryptocurrency that has the most synergy with something like an NVIDIA, then it's probably Render. It's a decentralized way to provide GPU, which is computing power, to potential clients that will want to offer AI products. So that's why Render's under the spotlight at the moment. There are others I'm going to talk about soon. I actually think 𝗏𝗏 is a bit of alpha for you. I think 𝗏𝗏 is going to start seeing its time in the sun at some point. I think it's a cool one. I would keep my eye on that. A lot of people are talking about Render. Not a lot of people are talking about 𝗏𝗏. They do something similar with their cloud system. I would keep an eye on a lot of these infrastructure products. There are others, but I would say Render and 𝗏𝗏, very interesting plays. Render probably more interesting than 𝗏𝗏, but just much higher valued. But look, if we compare it to NVIDIA, it's about 1,000x away. So like, I always think of crypto as like a proxy, right? Because the stock market is less liquid, and I mean, it's fairly liquid, but less liquid and less accessible. Like if you're in, let's say France, and you want to invest in NVIDIA, it's not as easy as just like going onto exchange and buying NVIDIA. A lot of the time you'll need to like open an international brokerage account, pay high fees. maybe submit your ID, submit tax and paperwork. It's a big deal buying like a stock from an international country. I experienced it as an Australian owning Apple stock. I got to go through all these international brokers. I got to pay fees. If I want to sell, I have to wait 2 days. It's liquid because 2 days compared to real estate is good, but it's not that liquid. Like crypto is liquid in the sense that 5 minutes, 1 minute, you can sell, get your money out, bang. It's quick. So a lot of lazy people, or just even not just lazy people, but people that, because I'm not calling you lazy, by the way, if you invest in Render, but more so like people that just want an easier way to get in to a general narrative and don't want to have those wait times or barriers to entry, a lot of them turn to crypto. And this isn't just Render specific. This is like every narrative ever. The Chinese narrative, like prime example, the AI narrative, prime example, Render, Nvidia, Apple, prime example as well. If someone wants exposure to AI, Metaverse, etc., they can just buy a liquid crypto token, and maybe they're not actually getting like the tangible upside that you get through owning a stock, but you are getting like general like sentiment upside, like the mind share. If people believe in something, then it becomes self-fulfilling in crypto. If people believe Render is like the ultimate like GPU AI play, then people are gonna like invest in that when they want exposure to a hot narrative. And this is why I said when I was really hot on AI a few months ago, and like you guys know I've done a lot of AI videos. This is why I said back then, and I've been consistent on this, that AI isn't going away. A lot of narratives have short-term pumps and then die. Like we see this all the time. Narratives pump and then, it's buy the rumor, sell the news, it just dies. The difference between AI in crypto and other narratives, I think at least in the medium term, is that there's just so much development happening in the AI space. There's so much interest for AI. There's so much interest for getting exposure to the metaverse and this kind of AI narrative that these tokens, they end up having a bit more longevity, and they actually pump based on news. So a lot of these are news based. Like you might see 𝗏𝗏 or ChatGPT release a new update and you see AI tokens pump, and it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't make sense on face value because they're not directly related. But in terms of like a narrative play, it does make sense because you understand what I said before, that investors are just trying to chase more liquid ways to invest in a narrative. So that's why I still have my eye on AI projects. Now, you guys know the main ones, your 𝗏𝗏, your Oceans, your 𝗏𝗏𝗃, they're decentralized marketplaces, they're peer-to-peer platforms. Ali's like an NFT platform, Render's GPU. They're all different, but I have my eye on this space deeper than just that top 20. I'm on the lookout for new AI protocols that are going to change crypto and have synergies with crypto. I know the synergies aren't that strong yet, but I believe they will become stronger. And even if you have like tokenized versions of like real world things, I think there's benefits to having a token. For example, if you're an AI company and you actually want to offer like a real world product, a real world AI service, you may actually choose to incorporate a token, some sort of decentralized DAO structure, because of the benefit you get of decentralization, and the benefit you get from like having a liquid token and the ability to raise capital. Because if you're a new like company, it's actually easier to launch a token. Now there's regulatory risk depending on what country you're in, but it's actually a lot of the time easier to launch a token than do like some crazy like raise, like a stock raise, because like it's a way for you to get paid quickly doing a token raise. So obviously, you don't want it to be a cash grab, but if there are good projects launching tokens that are in the AI space, that are doing it because they want to raise money and that they know the benefits of launching a token, then there may be opportunities there. So I'm not even just interested in this top 10. I'm interested in some of these smaller ones. Now, I will present them to you when the time's right. That is something I really want to do. As I said to you guys earlier, I'm researching this stuff every day now. I'm really in tune with this space. I'm getting more in tune with it. If you go onto my Twitter feed, you'll see I even have an AI list. I may share this with you in the future, but it's not here. Twitter lists. I have an AI. Okay, here. So this is my AI list that I'm actually going to pin. And this is a list with 10 people that I like have on my feed where I can like get up to date with the AI market. So I'm really monitoring this a lot every single day, monitoring these top guys and AI crypto traders, etc., and monitoring the new tokens and the new companies that are launching, because I think there will be some good ones. So it's not just Render that I'm looking at off the back of the Apple announcement, which is certainly one trade. By the way, if you do want to buy Render, I mean, it's hard now. I would look at the reclamation and primarily like holding 2.5 as a level to potentially buy. My nose is so itchy, by the way. Apologies. Or it comes back down to the 2.1 level, then this is your zone. These are short-term accumulation zones, though. I think you have this zone, the 140 zone. We may not get down here again, but I really hope we do, because if we do, this is like a great mid-range zone for me to buy. As long as we're holding above the 200 MA on the daily, I'm happy. So it's not like the greatest DCA zone ever. You guys know my strategy with DCAing. I buy so I DCA over time into assets I believe in, but I wait for aggressive sell-offs. I wouldn't call this an aggressive sell-off. The only way this becomes a trade for me is if it holds, then it can become a trade where like I have like a strong level to get out at. So more of a trade that like I'm happy to just hold it unless it breaks below, and then I cut my losses. So I might look at doing something like that if we do hold above, or looking at like picking off a long here and here. But these won't be like crazy purchases unless we have like an aggressive leg to the downside, which I don't think we get. But if we somehow do, then 140, I think, becomes a zone where I'll stack more heavily as long as we hold it. But let's just see. Render is one I'd love to own more of, but I'm not going to just FOMO in based on Apple. I would love like a better entry, and it's okay, because as I said, there's many other protocols that are going to give us proxy bets into the AI space that I believe in. Hustle actually mentioned one on his show the other day. Props to Hustle for picking this and making a plus 40% on it, and that's 𝗬𝗏𝗿𝗏. They've been hinting at an Apple tease for their VR/AR. They may be announcing something. So the Apple Developer Conference, I'd be interested to see if 𝗬𝗏𝗏 gets a mention. They're a metaverse. Maybe, and this is just a presumption, but maybe what they're going to announce is, this is just a complete guess, but it would make sense that Apple's new headset, maybe 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 is looking at deploying on that. Maybe Apple will have support for 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. That would be cool. That's probably the most logical synergy there. But yeah, Hustle spotted this. Well done to Hustle. 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 is also one on my list, and I think this is a pretty good list. 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃 made this on Twitter, and it has all the coins that are like kind of synergistic with this Apple thing, and it has the reasons why. So Render has Octane available in the App Store. They've been working with Apple. Ape potentially has its deployment. It says improbable, so it also has like the likelihood next to it. Axie had their game on the App Store approved. Some of these are like weak links, like, you know, anyone can deploy a game on the App Store, but I think for Axie's perspective, having a decentralized app approved was a big stance shifter for Apple, because typically decentralized products are kind of shunned. Keek has an Apple VR plus Metaverse partnership, Apple, Meta, Oculus, Microsoft Universal Music partnerships. Obviously look more into all of this stuff, but I just thought this was an interesting list here for you guys to kind of see where there may be connections between AI and the Apple Play. So if you don't want to trade any like AI token or anything, I think you're going to need a centralized exchange. A lot of these are on chain. So if you're trading spot, you are going to be able to trade a lot on chain, but a lot of these also just launch on centralized exchanges. That's just the reality of it. I love DEXs. You guys know how much I love them. But for a lot of these tokens, I think you're probably better off on an exchange like OKX or PrimeXBT, but OKX I think has more alt pairs. So if you do want to buy like any of these, I'm not saying buy them now. I'm just saying so you're ready in the future when you want to buy, or whatever your strategy is to trade them. I think the best place to trade is OKX. Someone said there's the alpha. Glad you're enjoying the show, Punkle. So there's a link. I'm sure most of you already have an account, but if you don't, there's a link in the description. You can get a $10,000 mystery box if you deposit. So if you sign up, deposit into your account, you can win up to $10,000 if you use the link in the description. We're also going to be launching on Ram will announce this on his show. Very, very big sign-up bonus coming soon for OKX. So keep your eye on that. And more trading incentives as well. We just gave away the Tesla, which was a huge promotion. Congrats to the winner of the Tesla. Congrats to the winner of the other prizes as well. The MacBook, the holiday to the Maldives. Amazing. Well done. But there is more stuff coming on OKX. So it's a decent time to sign up for OKX, in my opinion. Link in the description to that if you want to sign up and create an account, because you're going to need to use a centralized exchange for some of these coins, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I don't mind using centralized exchanges. I'm not against them. I actually think they're more efficient in many ways. But, I mean, you guys know how I trade. DEXs, centralized exchanges. I split my money, some on-chain, some off-chain. Diversification's key. I don't want all my money in a MetaMask, and I don't want all my money in a centralized exchange. But if I have half and half, or 60-40, or 40-60, that sits better with me to diversify. And that's across OKX, PrimeXBT, Bybit, BitGet, So I'm diversified there. And then on the decentralized exchange front, that's across Apex, Gains, experimented with Quenta, that kind of stuff as well. Someone said OKX is still underrated. I don't know why. I don't know why either, because in terms of trading experience, it's basically just as good as Bybit. Like, it's the same. If you've ever traded on OKX, you would know it's like probably got the best phone app now alongside Bybit. So anyone that's like trades on Bybit, and you're used to that interface, give it a try. Like, honestly, give it a try. It's very, very clean. It's very, very clean, easy to understand, very simple. Much better than like a KuCoin or something like that. All right, I'm gonna look through the comments now, and give you some quick updates. Don't need to sell us. I'm not selling. I'm just plugging the sponsor, Brian. You gotta show the sponsor some love. Let's look through some. What does Render Coin do? It's essentially the governance coin. There is also like a rev share model, but primarily it's the governance coin for the GPU system that they've got, Octane X. I can actually show you the tokenomics model. I hope it's on CoinGecko. If not, I'm doing a deep dive on this soon. So don't worry if I don't explain it all today and you don't understand it. I will do a highly concentrated deep dive video very soon for you on Render. Actually, I just got a new camera because I want to do edited content. I don't just want to do streams all the time. I just got a camera where I'm going to start doing like basically edited deep dives, kind of like 𝗫𝗄𝗃, but hopefully better than 𝗫𝗄𝗃, which will explain projects like Render exactly and are well researched. For some reason, CoinGecko doesn't have it. It's fine though. You'll get that video very soon, and I'll explain that. Chill on the workout meds. No workout meds, just coffee. I used to take pre-workout. I stopped because it made me too crazy. So some of the DeFi news this week, just to kind of get you up to speed ahead of the weekend. Basically, okay, Optimism's Bedrock upgrades taking place. By the way, Optimism's tokenomics are shocking. Huge unlock. Not great. We can see it there. Multi-chain bridge had a lot of issues. Rand discussed this on his show. Keep your eye on outflows on major exchanges. The CEO is basically unaccessible. Very weird what's happening there. Has some pretty bad implications for Phantom, given the fact that USDC and Phantom have a lot of pairs. I'm not like panicking out of Phantom, but I'm just wary about Phantom DeFi. So I'm not saying sell Phantom. I'm just saying if you have USDC on Phantom, because they leverage multi-chain and because like 30% of their entire TVL or more is based on multi-chain USDC, I would maybe look to de-risk there a little bit, and a lot of people are. That's why there's significant outflows. So keep your eye on that. BNB is the same. Optimism's the same. They have multi-chain bridge exposure. That wasn't a good update. QuickSwap released a perp DEX on ZK EVM called 𝗵𝗆𝗄𝗃. It allows up to 50x leverage. Another one there as well. I haven't tested it out. I would love to test it out. Remember, I'm very bullish on this DEX narrative. Libra Finance. Watch this. Doing a thread on this tonight. It's part of my LSD thread tonight, but Libra Finance is pretty cool. They're working on a pretty awesome V2, which utilizes layer 0 tech to offer liquid staking across multiple chains. Very, very cool. Look at Libra, look at Stata, look at Frax, look at Rocket Pool, Lido as well, but Rocket Pool is probably a bit better, as I said in the past. Those are kind of my best favorite LSD plays that I will break down tonight in that thread. What else do we have? Why is my nose so itchy as well? It's like so annoying. I had allergies in France, like really bad hay fever because it was spring over there. But I've come back and like I'm still having allergies. I don't know why, because it's winter here. But anyway, Hong Kong opened their retail trading. We didn't get a Hong Kong pump. We did get a pre-pump though, as expected. Velodrome is launching their V2 as well. What else have we got? Trader Joe's auto pools will launch this week. Trader Joe's awesome. The team's so good. Any huge dips on Joe, I will look to buy up just because I love it. Cosmos has its conference on the 3rd to the 5th. Very interesting. Very interesting. Keep your eye on some of the Cosmos projects for sure. Synthetics V3 is launching next month. Synthetics powers Quenta, one of the DEXs. Synthetics is a cool product, by the way. I do like it a lot. Mangrove, first programmable order book DEX will go live on mainnet in June. Lots of stuff happening in the DEX space. Maybe I should do a thread on DEXs soon. I should probably do that because there's a lot of stuff happening. Let's see if anyone has any questions. If you had 1,000 to put into AI, where would you put it in now? Very hard question to answer without giving financial advice, Victor. Very hard question to answer. If I personally had not financial advice, $1,000 to put into AI, I actually probably wouldn't do it right now. I would maybe start laddering in to some of the top protocols, but I think there's going to be a lot of cool things launching soon. I'm sorry to like not give you the answer right now, but I want to make sure I give you the answer when I can give you a proper answer and not just like name random tokens. This is a harder question. I need to think about this and also look at some of the upcoming protocols which I've been monitoring, because some of them could be the better bets. The new ones actually could be the better ones than the old ones, like your FETs and your Oceans, etc. I do like Render, waiting for a dip there. I do like a cash. But in terms of like making a portfolio, I wouldn't FOMO in now. I would wait. I would DCA slowly. Some of the tokens will likely bleed at certain points. I wouldn't FOMO, but I would start definitely researching. What's your take on a bear market bounce opposed to the bull run starting now? Well, never in history, actually, Benjamin, have we seen a bounce this significant, a 100% move to the upside, and it not resulting, given the proximity, like how long this has lasted for, not resulting in a new bull market. We've never seen look at these lows here, a 213-day 100% move to the upside and it not being the start of a new bull run. Now, maybe history is just faking us out. Maybe this isn't the start and maybe we're just getting faked out. But if history is anything to go by, then this could be the beginning. Now, if it is the beginning, does that mean we can't go down? No. You can actually, historically, we have gone up and then swept lows again. We saw this in 2020. We pumped all the way to the upside. Look at this. It was a quick move, 296%. The massive crash happened. We know what happened in March. We almost swept the lows. Not quite, but we almost did. Something similar could happen. This could just be a sideways year, and we could chop like this. Let's just zoom out, and we could do something like this before we start to reclaim. I don't know. Obviously, it probably wouldn't be sideways for that long. If it is, sorry for you, because that's a year of sideways. Maybe it's quicker. Maybe it's something like this. Down, up, down, like this, and then something like that. I don't know. But if this does happen, and this isn't a prediction, this is just like one piece of logic. If this does happen, it just means this year's a sideways year, which it has been so far. I know this doesn't, you might think, 100% is not sideways, but like this, it kind of is. We're kind of still range bound. And until we break the range, I consider that to be sideways. We can do something like this and we can just chill, maybe drop, come back up, not actually make a new low, but still sweep like close to the lows. Maybe it's 20K. I don't know. And that's happened in the past. So is this a new bull run? Obviously, you can only ever say it's a new bull run in hindsight. That's the only time you can ever like be affirmative on that. But I would say that there's nothing to suggest that it isn't. But just because it's a new bull run doesn't mean you got to FOMO in now. You can still wait for dips. You still get dips at the start of bull runs. You still get 50% drawdowns at the start of bull runs. So I hope it is the start of a new bull run. But if it is, I don't need to FOMO now. We know what happens. A lot of the time, we still get corrections. You had a big correction here even before March. On Bitcoin to 6.8. We had it in the past as well in 2014. You had pumps and then you had big corrections, which were opportunities to accumulate. Bit overheated now. Until I stack really heavy, I'm still waiting for that. And then I'll look to accumulate. But there's still some things that I'm buying, slowly. Someone said, don't we need capitulation first? Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, I would wait for capitulation personally, or I am, until I make super heavy alt buys. So that's what I would do. Sydney in the house, my bro. You from Sydney? I'm a Melbourne boy, but I do like Sydney. I actually got some friends that I should visit soon to Sydney. Last thing, if you have any final questions, drop them in the comments. I just wanted to remind you about this bonus that we are running on PrimeXBT. We're almost out of codes, but if you haven't yet, there is still time to claim the Miles20 code, which gives you a 20% deposit bonus. So basically, if you deposit 10,000, you get 2,000 to trade with. Deposit bonus, pretty good. If you deposit 30K, then you will get, 5K, and so on and so forth. So that is or 6K. That's a pretty good deposit bonus. So 20%, I think it's the biggest percentage deposit bonus we've ever done, up to 6,000. So you can theoretically deposit up to 30K and get the max bonus. Or obviously, if you have less, if you want to deposit 1,000, you get 200, etc. 500, you'll get 100. So yeah, 20% deposit match on PrimeXBT if you use the link in the description. So click this link. Available to the first 100 users. We may extend this. I need to talk to them, though. They said only had 100 codes. So I think 90 been taken. So there'll be 10 more today. I do want to extend it. I'm going to see if I can extend it in case some of you missed it. But just in case they don't let me extend it, there's still a few spots left today. If you do want to do that, deposit and trade on Prime XBT, which is a very cool exchange, by the way, because it doesn't just offer Bitcoin, ETH, alts. It also offers commodity pairs. It also offers Forex pairs. It's basically like also a Forex exchange as well. And I think that's pretty cool because it gives you a bit more flexibility. It's a bit different to an OKX in terms of how you do trades. You trade based on percentages like you would on a Forex account. It's not like your typical leverage exchange. But if you're into that kind of flexibility, I think it's one of the most credible proven exchanges in the market. So that's another option for you guys. For OKX is great. If you want more flexibility though, with trading other kind of pairs as well and non-KYC, which is, well, to be honest, a pretty freaking huge benefit. If you don't want a KYC yet, there's still a chance for you to trade on Prime XBT and not have to do that, which is kind of, people don't like KYC, man. So yeah, link in the description for that 20% deposit match. Too many promos on Banter? I don't think so, because they all have yeah, I get what you're saying, but they all have a kind of a benefit. Like, the thing is, you have to give the users options. So you might not like OKX, but you might like Prime XBT, and you may like Apex. So there are different exchanges for different people, and they all have different needs. And we get amazing like incentives for you. So we're not forcing you to sign up for anything, but if we're giving you the option that if you do want to sign up, you can get a benefit that's, you know, greater than on other channels. So hopefully it doesn't come across too much as shilling. I know sometimes it might. I'm sorry. But obviously it's one way we make money. I'll be fully transparent. Of course, we fund our research. We fund all our production costs and everything with, you know, revenue from multiple sources, including exchanges. So it is part of our revenue model as a business. This is a business at the end of the day. I love making videos, but it's still a business. And one way we do it is through exchange partners, but we wouldn't do it if there wasn't a benefit for you. So we wouldn't just shill things for the sake of it. If we didn't think there was a benefit, we are selected with the sponsors we bring on, and I try to make sure there's always a benefit at times. So I do believe all the products, Apex, OKX, and Prime XBT, are all good. Now, does it mean that there can't be issues? No, unfortunately, that's crypto. There can be. Luckily, we weren't shilling FTX. That's lucky. But yeah, that's still like, we're gonna give you the option at the end of the day. TRX fit into AI/metaverse narrative? I don't think so. I think the major selling point right now is like their stablecoin thing. Sending Melbourne some love. It's cold here, but I kind of like the cold. Kind of enjoying the cold after it was freaking hot in Monaco. Kind of enjoying it. All right, I think we're gonna leave it here because I'm going live tomorrow. So I'm gonna see you tomorrow on Friday night, 7:15 p.m. EST, and some pretty cool content coming soon. So if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button. Let me know in the comments what you think of the AI stuff. Do you want to hear more about how I'm investing in my AI research? And do you want to hear some of the strategies that I've found for AI crypto trading? Let me know if you're interested in that in the description. In the comments, sorry, not the description. And yeah, until tomorrow, I will see you later. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Peace out.